Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne or...
How very odd. I can hear echo on my side. How are you? Say sorry about that, people. I'm going to have to send the link out very quickly and use my powers of LinkedIn DMs. My favorite thing ever. So where am I? Which one's is that V2? I don't think that's V2. I mean, this is V2. I don't know which one's V2. Free live. Okay, I'll try and join both. Total chaos. It's not meant to be this way. What could have happened? Can you hear an echo? Michael, can you hear an echo?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. So now there's 3 events with me, with us, which is rather crazy. Okay. Oh, fun V2. Okay, cool. All right. We're here, and our friends are coming back slowly but sure. And we're actually working LinkedIn private. Excellent. How you doing, Mel?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm doing
Guys.
peachy. I'm in the sun exercising. So
Well, that's good.
mm-hmm.
Nice. It's a nice day here. Cyrus, how are you doing? I'm talking but not talking.
Cyrus, you're on mute.
Yeah, we can now. Okay. We can now, so we're going to use for a second. So hopefully Sarah will come back. Oh, my friends, life throws curveballs at you, right? Why am I echoing to myself? I need to close one window and leave the other one open. Yes. Okay, V2 is there. Oh, the V2 is there too. That's why I have an echo. Let's get rid of that. Okay, I've got rid of one. Let's hope nothing goes wrong from here on in, because I know where I am now. Damn, that was scary, wasn't it? That was scary for me anyway. My friends carried on talking, but I knew I had a problem, because if I wasn't alive, I mean, there was no one else like that. I wasn't alive anywhere else either. But now we're back. Just my friends haven't got the link yet. I'm gonna have to send them the link very quickly and say, join us, come along. That's what we do, right? I suppose let's talk for a few minutes, and then whilst we give people a chance to join. I know some people will. So I got DM saying, where are you? People saying technical glitch. Yes, for sure. Technical glitch. Yeah, but these things happen in these events. Okay, excellent. But at least we're here. So Mel, these two have talked for long. They've talked for long enough. The last half an hour, only 45 minutes, until we realized we had a problem, right? How's your book coming?
It's coming along.
So in case the world doesn't know, Mel, she talks about all things bananas, right? That's what she talks. That's what she writes. I told you I would tell him. Everything that's what she's concerned is bananas. It's all that's the word Mel lives in.
Yep, I actually already started the book for that. I did,
it's about bananas.
It's so good. Like, it is so good. And then after that, I'm gonna make the recipe book. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I
No,
look forward to it.
are you a banana fan, Michael?
Big time.
Yes, see, told you.
I'm, I'm allergic to bananas. I'm just allergic to it, spiritually. I just can't cope with the idea of looking at it. I can't look at bananas, let alone eat them.
How can you
Mm,
be my brother and be allergic to bananas? I
I
can't
don't do
believe that.
bananas. My son does bananas with everything. Bananas and egg. I'm like, what's that? How
No,
is that
you
a
have
thing?
to taste it.
How is that
You have
a
to taste
thing?
it. It is
That
awesome.
that just sounds the worst thing in the world. It looks like the worst thing in the world too. Banana and egg, banana and yogurt, banana and this, banana and that. I'm like, oh, stop it. Banana and tuna.
What kind of bananas are you referring to, Annie?
I
I
think
just
he's talking about plantains versus regular banana.
no, I love plantain. I love I had plantain this morning. I love plantain. I know what plantain is. I know what banana is. I just don't like the smell. I don't like the whole yellow thing. I don't understand. I don't like it. I can't cope with it.
But
It
I
used to
don't
be.
understand how do you like plantains, but you don't like bananas. They're not the same, but they're the same. Like,
I know what you mean. But bananas have a special disgustingness. I just can't cope with. Maybe I was traumatized somewhere. That's all I can
Do you
say.
know that there are many different kinds of bananas,
They're,
especially
they're
those yellow
normally
type?
yellow and smell like
that is
bananas.
very true.
They are,
No,
and they
no, they're all
taste
the same.
different
What do
too.
you mean? They're all the same. They're
Nope,
bananas.
nope. They all taste different too.
Really?
Yes.
That's very true.
News to me. News to me. The bananas just no. Anyway,
You need
no.
to expand your banana world, buddy.
I'm not. I'm not going there. I'm allergic to them. Is what I said to you. So I'll stay right there. I'll say
But
No,
how can you be allergic
that
and you
is
and you
that that
eat the
that is you
plantains? That doesn't make
hallucinating, Annie. Again,
sense.
that is you
they make me
hallucinating.
feel sick. Just looking at them makes me feel sick. And the thought of eating them just
Yeah,
literally ruins. I just can't cope. I can't cope at all. It's just me. That's one of my quirks, right? It's one of my quirky ways. What can I say? I can't. I don't know. I don't know why I'm so revolted by them. But revolted I am.
but like I said, there's hope still for you because you didn't know that there were different types of bananas, and you didn't know that they tasted different. There is still hope for you.
There's no hope. There's no hope for me at all. I wish there was. Maybe there is, but not in this lifetime, right?
Then what I'll do is I'll lend you mine, plenty of it,
No.
for as long as you need it. All my hope.
I told you my son. I might say my son. He loves bananas too much. So clearly, we have bananas in the house, and I stay way clear of them. But everyone knows what I'm like, so they sort of make sure I'm not tortured by bananas. But I'm sure Melanie's book will be brilliant. If I know what she's gonna write about bananas. But I still want to publish a book, so
Will you buy
okay.
it?
Will I buy it?
Yes.
Yeah, of course I buy. I have to buy it because launch day. We'll do, but I buy everyone's book. Of course, everyone in my house buys all our friends' books, all of them.
You
The
saying
only
that
one
just basically tells me that there is still hope for you.
for Mel's book, yes. For bananas, no.
Bananas. Yes.
For Mel's book, yes. For bananas, there's no chance. Not a chance. Anyway,
Yeah.
and if you see someone in the comments, let me know, and then we can begin. So I'm sending this link out to people now.
Good morning, ladies. Have a nice walk.
Oh no, he's actually interacting in real life. Imagine that.
Yeah. There's some beautiful people out here.
I'll take your word for it.
You can't
Okay.
avoid them. I
No.
can't.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And you say hello to them as well. So
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Annie
Don't
says
harass-
hello.
don't harass them though. Okay, right.
I'll do my best, Annie. I'll do my best.
Yeah,
Tell you the truth, you could say that I do not understand the meaning of harassment.
in England, it's almost well, I guess in London, it's rude to talk to anyone you don't know. Almost.
Your English and your rules. Oh my gosh.
That is mean. You should speak to people.
Don't be
Yeah.
surprised, if you talk to someone, don't be surprised if they claim harassment. But so isn't that the weirdism of life? If they like the look of you, then they welcome you interacting with them. Whereas if they don't like the look of you, then they say, it was harassing me. Like, thanks. I'm just saying hello. That's what I said. Hello. How are you? But again, if you're on the underground, don't talk to anyone because they're just gonna take offense because you've ruined their day. You ruined their week probably because you dare to speak with them. And all you said was hello. That's just how we are. We're very reserved. But in some parts of the countries, in Southwest where I live, if you don't talk to people, they think you're weird. And then that ends up being the bane of your life because when you go shopping, for example, right? You join queues because the people at the front are talking with the cashier. They're talking, a proper conversation. Rather than paying and leaving, they stop, have a good chat about how life is going, and then eventually they might leave. Very weird. Okay, right. Okay, let's get back to conversation that that we came to have today. If that's all right. Hopefully, to our friends in the audience, hopefully you haven't been too put off. So I'm going to continue trying to send the new link out, and hope that more people can join us. I don't know. I wouldn't advise anyone on stage to do the same because my computer normally eventually freezes. Normally has a moment where it thinks you've done too many DMs. I can't process all of them. And it freezes, and I have to restart my device. My friends, bear with me. Cyrus,
and by the way, and he owns a Mac.
I do. My babies. Maybe it's the heat. No, but it's not a computer. This is a.
That's a Mac Pro, isn't it?
Yeah, but no. But this is a. What's the one I'm looking for? This could be a heat issue, but it's a StreamYard issue. America, welcome, sir. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for persisting. So I appreciate you. I will make sure I do the same. I pay it back when it comes to your show. I don't know what happened in America. Literally, we started, played the music, went live, and then suddenly StreamYard just went, ooh, and said the event ended. 17 seconds, I think we had. And that was it. It said events ended. And then so I'm thinking, how has that happened? So I'm looking everywhere, but I can see it's ended. And my friends are saying no, they can see the event live on their, on their devices. When I said, okay, stream to your device, they're like, nah, I can't. It says ended. So let me just start again. We live and learn, my friends. We live and learn. We live and learn. We all need patience when it comes to computer and how tech tends to work, right? So I'm glad you're here, Michael. I'm glad you're here, Melanie, as well. Thank you so much for giving me your time and your patience. I'll understand if you run out of time and have to go, but of course, we're gonna have to try and pack everything into a shorter space of time. I'm used to talking for hours on end on this event, the Book to Business Live, because there's always much to share. Let me start this show again. Look, for those who don't know me, for those who do know me, I'm still Enio Son. You're having the joy of my life. Where's the books I was going to show you? Okay. My book is my pride and joy. Lessons we learn from COVID. And I have to learn to show it off more often because it ties in what I'm going to share with you today, my friends. Lisa, Dr. Lisa the genius. Yes, Lisa. So glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being patient as well. Of course, I got your WhatsApp saying, "Where are you? Who's singing?" So, all right, try not to. It never helps. Probably Mike is singing, right? If you haven't bought my book yet, Lessons We Learn from COVID, please go and buy it. I'll put the link in the comments afterwards. If you want the link sent to your DM, please do message me. Just when I put in the comments here, then I shall happily Send the book to you. Luz, welcome, welcome, welcome as well. Welcome. Anyone who's here, please, drop us a comment so I can welcome you properly. Yeah, so I'd love to express my gratitude for you giving us your time. Just say where you join us from, say hello, say anything you'd like to say. So I would love to get more people here, but you're here, that's important, and that's good enough for me, right? So after you have a major disaster like we had, where StreamYard suddenly goes off, what can you do? But you're still here. That gives me joy. Okay, so I talked about what I do. So yes, I've got a book, of course, but my life is helping people to write their book, publish their book, and market their book. Again, that's where today's topic really comes from. The fact that people I see, new authors or people with new books, they seem to have what I called unrealistic expectations about what their book is going to do for them, at least initially. I'm not here to kill dreams, right? But let's face it, your book is not going to make you rich in the first 6 months. It's just not. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't write a book. Of course, it doesn't mean you shouldn't write a book, right? It doesn't mean that you shouldn't have dreams for your book. And I would say what it means is that I would love you to have what I call realistic expectations for your book. Don't feel like a failure, because you're not. Of course, you're not a failure. The world is full of authors whose first books flopped. Again, I think if even the word failing is not, that's a wrong word for it. People whose first book did not sell as much as they wanted. Their book didn't make them multimillionaires, and they seem to think they failed. And I'm talking about everyone. And I mentioned J.R.R. Tolkien. He's the one who wrote Lord of the Rings. Do you know that first book was a flop? And I read a comment that was made about him. There was a comment that said he had no literary expertise whatsoever. His book was not engaging. That's as good as saying it's badly written, or you don't even know how to write properly. Yeah. There's been so many others. Someone wrote Leaves of Grass. Whitman, that's his name, America's greatest poet, right? His first book, they said to him, you should have burnt it instead of giving it in to be published. And he actually went along, so Grenade Whittier actually went along and burnt his own copy of the book. Who knew that years later there would be superstar writers? Their books will be bestsellers all over the world. Their books will give them the fame, recognition, and the money that they wanted. But see, in these initial days of marketing, my friends, we want book sales. But what you're not going to get is revenue. You're not going to get income the way you might think, the way you might dream of as we speak right now, right? Even just who wrote The Great Gatsby? Great Gatsby, is that Scott Fitzgerald? Again, that book was totally unimportant. What they said to this great writer, right? They said it's not. You can't put it on the same shelf as other books. How rude is that, right? And this is a story of authors, my friends. Even J.K. Rowling, her first book, Philosopher's Stone, they said no. She got rejected how many times by how many publishing houses, and look what happened.
Well,
I'm saying, here's the point, my friends. The point of today's conversation is simply to let you know that there are certain goals that we have to aim for in the initial marketing of our books. You see, those goals and the steps we take essentially is like planting the seeds, because those seeds will come good later on. Those are the seeds that we're going to build on when our time comes, right? Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. I posted a new link on the original event page for you. Thank you so much. If anyone else wants to share the link with anyone that they can think of, please do. Don't be shy, right? Just don't crash your device. Look, so going back to my narrative, like I say, we need to plant the seeds. What the marketing we do initially is important, but we have to know what we're actually trying to do, what we're aiming for, what our goal is. See, when we know what our goal is, then we learn to do the right things to achieve them. The goal is not popularity. The goal is not, I don't know, some people they argue with me and tell me about how doing a whole bunch of shorts only is the answer. It's not. It's not. You want to do more than that. Of course, we had a half an hour conversation about this, me and my friends in the studio. Mel then wasn't here then. Cyrus, I'd love you to make your point again, my friend. What are we trying to achieve in the early stages of a marketing, my friend?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're a bit quiet, so it could be a bit louder.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be in another one of Annie's live. Fantastic people on the stage. Michael, Melanie, Zara was here before, and everybody else in the listening section of the live coverage today. Welcome to the show. I just wanted to say, we had a little bit of technical issue, and I'm really glad it's resolved now. So, in terms of writing a book, as soon as you write your first chapter, you need to remember, you need to tell yourself, I'm going to be patient, I'm going to build up. I am at the very beginning of something great. Okay, it's not going to be a shortcut to a bank vault where they keep all the money. No, it's not going to be like that. If you're writing it for getting rich, don't write it. If you're writing a book for getting rich, don't write it. If you're trying to achieve happiness by conceiving a child, don't conceive that child, because that child is not necessarily going to make you happy. That book is not going to necessarily make you rich. The outcome that you want will happen, but not immediately, not overnight. When a woman gets pregnant, what term do we use for that woman? Is that woman going to give birth instantly? No. We use the term expecting. That woman's expecting. That means that woman's pregnant, right? Other ways of saying the same thing. Expecting. So is it helpful if I shout at the woman's belly and tell the child, come on, be born now? Is it going to make it any faster or slower? No. So you're going to be patient. You cannot go through more inconvenience than that pregnant woman, right? It is that woman who is going through that inconvenience. You have to be patient. That woman is patient. So you might as well, as a partner, you might as well be patient, right? So back to the book, the live coverages subject. Back to today's subject. You have to be patient. If you're patient, or if you're not patient, nothing's going to change. By the way, it's going to take the same amount of time. Why does it take a while? And he used the beautiful terminology, planting the seed. Why does it take a while before the seed comes to the surface? Because that seed grows in two directions: upward, downward. Downward is where the growth happens. Upward is where the visual growth happens. So most of the growth happens, because you might be wondering, what the hell is that seed doing? Well, it's sending the roots lower and lower in the soil. That's where all the strength comes from. You marketing today, and tomorrow you will see the outcome coming out of the ground, right? So a lot of the wealth that people accumulate comes from the days that they can't see nothing. The days that they're feeling the desperation, the days they're feeling depression, they're feeling fatigue, the tired, the um, sleepless nights. You know, when you have some goals you haven't achieved yet, it's really annoying. It's super annoying. I've experienced. I'm still experiencing that. So yeah, it is there. You can't deny it. Okay, so if you're feeling frustrated about writing a book, or you're not feeling frustrated about it, the outcome is the same. It's going to take the same amount of time. You might as well enjoy the ride, right? So find yourself someone like, I don't know, like any other publisher that you want, a publisher of your choosing. My publisher of my choosing is any. You find yourself a publisher of your choosing, preferably any, or someone with the same level of expertise, someone you trust, someone you can trust. I trust any, so I chose any. So find some editor who's going to help you with the editing of your book. In his vast arsenal of editors, and he's got a lot to offer. Ask him to actually offer you one. So he offered me one or two, and I'm going to use them. So discuss your subject matter with people around you, your family, your friends. Find out if what you're going to write about is going to help people. So make sure it's not something that's already been resolved. So as an example, if I write a book to help people learn how to create airplanes, is that going to be helpful? Probably not, because airplanes already been invented, right? So find out if what you're writing is going to be helping some problem, some sort of problem, some sort of current problem, preferably, because if the problem you're going to solve is a thing of yesteryear or yesterday, as I say, then it's not going to be helpful to you or anybody else. So don't waste your effort. Do a little bit of market research. Talk to someone who's a publisher, like any or someone else, and hopefully the book that you're writing is going to be helpful to you and the community that you're going to sell it through. It's not you who needs to be benefiting from the book. It is a community of people. And if and when that happens, they will pay for it. And that's when you unlock the next level and the riches that you're trying to find yourself into. Your book needs to solve a community's problem. It needs to be niched down enough. Your book is not written to make you rich. Your book is written to make a community trouble free, to solve a community's problem. That's my advice to you guys. Thank you.
You, Cyrus. There's gems in there, my friend. Yeah, man. What am I? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, so I said my StreamYard now, my LinkedIn is talking to me. Owen, sorry, I just sent you an invite, right? Yeah, launch a book's definitely a marathon. Look, there's many good things you said there, Cyrus. Of course, I think it's a journey, it's a marathon, as Owen says. It's not a sprint. A lot of people want to sprint and get the results tomorrow. It's not going to happen. I'll tell you why, and then I'll come back to Cyrus's points, right? Look, when you write your book, when you publish your book, you're spending money, good money. You might think you're going to get that back, unless on book launch day, but you're not. You're just not. You're not. The reason you don't get it back on book launch day is this: if you try and sell your book at a huge profit or for the sale price on book launch day, no one's going to buy your book. See, book launch day is now most books are 99 cents, $1.99. And believe it or not, Amazon takes all of it because you are launching your book at the minimum price. You're not going to make any money. I can hear people asking, why bother? as Sarah says, you're laying down roots. You're laying down roots. You see, the first, this is my first bit of gems to share with you. What Sarah says, planting seeds. The first seeds that we need to plant is the Amazon seed. Amazon is a bookstore. You want your book on there. Your book is on Amazon, yes. Except your book is one of 1.5 million books that's going to be launched on Amazon this year. 1.5 million. No one's going to find your book on Amazon if you do nothing. But what you do at the beginning gives your book a chance to be found on Amazon by what I call random people, what you call readers, right? People who don't know you but who are looking for the book on your topic, they do a search and they find that your book comes up. If your book doesn't come up, they can't buy it. Now, go back to the beginning. I guess the point down that line of conversation is that you must give Amazon good reasons to give your book what we call, I guess, a bookseller ranking is called BSR. If your book is on page 50,000 or 50 or even 50, even 100, even 20, no one's going to find you, right? You need to get your book to the front of the search results. If you don't launch your book and get buyers, you are not going to be anywhere on Amazon. Can't sell your book, right? So that's one of the seeds that we must plant. We must actually plant that seed to at least begin to win on Amazon, to raise our ranking. From there, I guess how we do that is a question that I think this is what Sarah talks about a lot. We'll talk about in the main. At the heart of what we're trying to do is get awareness of our book. People to know our book exists. People to know and buy the book at cheap price, even though we're not making any money. It's fine. It's all right. That's just the money we don't make today, we'll make in good time. I told my friends on stage earlier, about a news story I heard this morning. This author who wrote a book in the 20s, and they said the book was a failure, flopped. People didn't buy it. People didn't read it, right? And then when the Second World War came, for some reason the government decided that her book was so inspirational, they bought 125,000 copies, sent them to the soldiers in the front line. Between the 20s and the Second World War, we're talking 20 years. Of course, you can imagine 125,000 copies bought at once made her an international bestseller and more on every single book list. New York Times, any book award, any book list at that time that you can think of. Of course, it made it extremely wealthy as well. But now, this is not just her story. This is the story of everyone. Stephen King, all of them. They didn't make money in the first book, but the work they did is what made them money in the end. And there's a lot that we can do in the process. Let me stop talking. I could say a lot more, but let me stop talking for a second. As Sarah's mentioned, building relationships. Let's hold that in mind. Mel, talk to me. What are you thinking? Are you surprised, or is it what you were expecting to hear? Mel, I can't hear you, Mel. I can't hear you. Gonna make that. Maybe you can't talk. Michael, I'll come to you. Otherwise, let me welcome those. So I'm sure I watched me already. So storytelling is very important. Your audience, clients, and team members can visualize what you say and provide clarity. I agree with you there for sure. Professor Roxana, thank you for joining us. I thought you couldn't join us. Dr. Roxana has her books out. She's on book number 5, I think. We're about to start. Right. Michael.
Ah, how do you do, Annie?
All right, man. A bit hot, but still, it's the
I'm glad
English
to
way.
hear it. Cyrus,
Uh,
how you doing, Cyrus? I hope you're well. Melanie, hope you're well too.
I'm
Nothing's
all right.
happened to
Thank you
you.
so much, mate.
Ah, very good. I'm not already an author. I am prospecting to be an author. I'm actually writing a book. Yes, sure. And yes, initially, before I even met any, I had the impression that, if once you write a book, you become a millionaire. But no, that's, once he said it, it had me thinking about what exactly is he talking about? Because, that's not what I've got in my mind. But come to think of it and actually think deeper about it, because my father is an author. So I take a look at what my father did, and no, he's not a millionaire either. He actually had to struggle big time. Almost got killed as a result of his book writing. He was a very intelligent fella, and people didn't like what he had to say, and not a lot of people liked what he did. So they actually had to chase him out of the country. He had to run out of the country for his own life, because it was certainly in a lot of danger, because a lot of his colleagues and friends were being taken out as a result of their stance. Book writing is an invitation into your world, into that head of yours, a certain portion or section of it where you want the world to see what you have to say, where you want the world to value what you value, or you're looking for people who value what you value, and you want to test the waters. Is there anybody out there that understands this? It's akin to writing a letter and putting it in a bottle and then setting it out in the waters and letting it drift away to see who's out there. Whoever picks up that letter and responds to you, hopefully, they can get your idea, get some sort of understanding of what it's about, ruminate about it, and appreciate it, and then come seek you out. And then both of you can ruminate about it, share the energy, not share the energy with just each other, but also with a whole bunch of other people, and grow from there. Because there's a lot more to what you value inside your head, and there's a lot more you can learn about it and understand, and inevitably make your universe better. Not only your universe, but everybody's universe as well. Because ultimately, that's what we want to do. Ultimately, that's what we should be seeking. Not monetary concern, but the value of improving our universe so that we as humanity can gain. Not just humanity, but we as members of the universe can gain by improving everybody else's life. Not just humanity's life, but the lives of all the animals and digital creatures, the universe. That is our function. That is who we are. And understanding that is what Annie is pushing, in a way. But that's what I'm getting from him. Thank you very much, Annie.
Thank you. I said thank you. Let me make sure you can hear me. So normally I talk on mute, right? StreamYard.
No,
No.
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Oh, and America, I agree with you. A book is an invitation into your mind. Cool. Who wants to look into my mind? Well, into our stories, America. I think as Lewis is talking about, it's a look into our lives, into our journey, right? And it is a journey, Michael. Like I say this book marketing thing, it's a journey. Now, I will say, Michael, I'm not saying you can't make money from your book in the first few months. You can. Of course you can. Again, this is the point of today's conversation. Now, there's a question of how. How do you make money from your book in the first 6 months? It's what you're saying, Michael. It's focusing on the greater good for which you wrote your book. How can you help people on the back of what is in your book? This room is called Book to Business, right? So your book can be your business. I mean, do you have a business attached to your book, or do you have a business that your book can help? The insights you're sharing, the fact that you're an author, the fact that you're a best-selling author, the fact that you have your knowledge on paper for others to read, to learn from, for others to really understand. Because whatever we tell them, people don't hear us enough. Maybe we don't explain things well enough, right? Your book, it's your business card if you use it wisely, right? That's good revenue. If you can learn to, if you can learn to use your book to get more clients for your business, you're more than planting a seed. Because now you got double bubble, and his theoretical approach, because now what you have now is someone who's read your book, a reader, someone who knows you, and someone who's buying from you. That's a win. That's a huge win. Right? Maybe your book is more to get you on stages like my friend Sandra Bothe. Yes, and when she started writing a book, she started doing speaker training. I remember we launched a book. 3 days later, she was on stage talking to hundreds about the topic of her book. Again, how much can you make from being a speaker? Yes, of course, like all things, we start. We might start free. We might start on low. Even expenses. It's a nice house for people to cover our expenses half the time, right? But we'll say if you when you get through dipping your toe in the water, when you get through building the trust in who you are, what you talk about, what you do, your expertise, your genius, your solutions, you essentially open that tap. That seed that we talked about initially has now grown. It's growing. And now you can leverage your genius to serve people rather than doing one-to-one. Think like coach. Many people use a book to help to create a coaching program. Many people use a chapter in a book to create a coaching program. I'm saying there's many ways we can leverage that book. And the book might be what convinces someone. Not in an employment situation, but maybe people, big decision makers, to give you a chance. Again, if you want to be a politician, for example, I'm saying your book might be what shows people, how MAGA you are. I don't mean MAGA really. How committed to your, I guess your beliefs. I just use MAGA as an example because we all know what that is, right? I'm saying, but no, your book can open many doors. What it's not going to do is make you rich on day one. Okay, I suppose let's talk about how do we get the benefits then. That's an important topic for us to think about. How do we actually use the book in our hand to begin to open doors? I think that's a useful endeavor for us to sort of dive into. Mel, are you back? I don't think. Yeah, Mel's back. Mel's there. I can't hear you though, Mel. I can see you're muted, but I can't hear you. I don't know where your sound has gone. I'm sure it's not my computer. It may be, but I'm sure it's not. Mel, what's happened to your sound? I can see you're muted, but I can't hear a word. You know, let me go to Cyrus now. They try and reset your sound if you have to, Melanie. You know, so I think we do need to know about your All Things Bananas book. Yeah, all our books are All Things Bananas, by the way. Just separate All Things Bananas books. We'll talk about this in detail when we started. Annie's banana allergy, Michael's banana obsession. Mel, you're back. Welcome back. Let's try again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay, I'm working, so and then also too, my sound keeps being weird because my connection where I live is not really that good. So but I heard everything Cyrus said that was good about planting the seed and being patient and all that stuff. Nothing was really surprisingly when it comes to you writing a book. I wasn't surprised. Um that's all I have to say.
So here's a question for you. So your book's going to come out soon enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're writing them at speed. It doesn't mean in haste. I was trying to explain what that means to my son earlier. It's my 16-year-old. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, more speed, less haste. Don't be in a hurry. Just do it properly. And then
I've got some advice with respect to that as well, Annie, and what we heard from Cyrus earlier. So yeah, when you're done,
please share it. Share it now.
Cyrus indicated that he is an impatient person, that he works extremely fast as a result. But the way I see it, Cyrus, is that you are just following your universe and how your universe operates. And if your operating system works at a speed that not a lot of people can understand or get, that doesn't matter. What matters the most is what you're most comfortable with. You're at an altitude and you operate in an altitude that not many people operate on. And not many people can understand. Remember, you are autistic. And as a result, you have powers that are more in tune with yourself than other people tune to. If they made quite a bit of effort, they could catch up and actually be at the same level and continue to be at the same level with you as well. So I suggest that it is not a way. I do not suggest that you make an apology for it, but I'm glad that you do know and understand that you are working and operate at that speed. And also Annie as well, you operate at a level that is different from a lot of other people as well. And I appreciate that because it just says that you are a different human being and you're at that altitude that other people need to reach and meet in order to get there. They need to put in the work, just like you and Cyrus have already done, putting in that work. It probably came natural to you, but at the same time, you're also working at it as well. And I believe in it. And I believe that one day I'll catch up with you. And one day I'll catch up with both you and Cyrus and Melanie, because Melanie is also working at speed as well. So keep it up. Speed is not something to be worried about. Do what you got to do, because that is your universe and you're most comfortable in it the way you operate. So operate the way you're most comfortable. Don't make any excuses for it. It is the way you operate.
I do like that, Michael. Definitely, that's a useful point. In that, don't waste the early days. Use them and use them. Go hard. Don't relax because I'm not making any money. What's the point? Don't be that person. like I said, I think there's goals that we can achieve. Now, I'll spell it out for you. I'll make it easy for everyone. That way, I promise to give you the real results that you get in your initial marketing. Now, here's what it is. Here's what it comes down to. Yeah, so now, aside from what I've said, you can make money if you leverage your book in other ways, right? But as a book marketer, I said now my first real goal for you is to get people to know your book exists. That's your first objective. That's your real. That's your brief. That's the thing that you want to be driven by. That's the thing that you want to be doing with passion, with drive. Money or not. Now, everything you said, Michael, applies, right? And get those. Now, get your book launch organized. Superstar. When I say superstar, I really do mean superstar. Linda, thank you so much for joining us. I miss you more than you miss me. I promise you. How have you been? Thank you for notice. I'm so glad you're here. If you're wondering why I call Linda Gray superstar, go and look at her profile. I don't know if that should tell you she is no profile. I don't tend to check profiles, right? But there's no bigger star than this lady. If you wonder why I love LinkedIn so much, it's fun that you get to connect with people who are truly amazing. Linda Gray is one of the biggest legends, in my world and in many people's world. I connect with her, and you might find out why. Thanks so much for joining us. Joni, I see you as well. I see you, right? Look, my friends, the first thing you must do is organize a book launch. Create an event around your book's launch. I mean, why wouldn't you? And many people they write their book and they leave it on Amazon. See if Amazon's going to suddenly randomly pick their book to publicize in their emails, maybe on the front page of Amazon. It doesn't happen that way. Not for anyone, not even the superstars. When you go to Amazon, what do you see? You don't see books. You don't see books sitting there looking at you, do you? Unless you go to the book section and search for a book, you're not going to find a book. So launch your book. Again, this is something I end up preaching these days. Again, I'd love to know your thoughts, Michael, Joni, and Melanie, and those in the audience. So if you have a thoughts, right? So we're very good at thinking about the masses. The masses. We want lots of people for everything. Lots of people at my event. Lots of people at my book launch. Lots of people buying my book. Lots of people, liking my post. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop. Think of doing things you need to do and impacting people one by one. Again, I get it. I know why people don't want to do this. When I tell people now, think of the power of one. My son said yes. Now count the pennies, and the pennies make the pounds. I'm like, yes, I agree. But don't just count one penny. Don't just pick up one coin, 1 cent, and then stop there. Find the rest. Keep an eye out for the rest, right? And pick them up when you see them. In other words, we need to get into this mindset of engaging the people that want to read our book. Sometimes that's everyone. Sometimes we have a target audience, right? But get to know them. Get to talk to them. Tell them about your book. And I say, I've got a friend, Lolette. And her card is here. I said, Lolette, I used to do a room, the What If room. Her book is this. The things Mama used to say. It's a set of cards, with proverbs on them. And of course, my grandmother used to you would share it with them, right? This pack of cards, she sold 23,000 copies. 23,000. That's remarkable. I guess I haven't told you that she sold that over 19 years. 1 to 20 years now. Well, Lolette will talk about this pack of cards everywhere. Shopping queue, funerals, bar mitzvahs, weddings, baby showers. She will talk about her putting out books everywhere. That's how you sell 23,000 copies, my friend. And that's we need to truly appreciate that when we do one by one, suddenly we reach that point that Cyrus talked about. Maybe it's a tipping point where suddenly you have a mass of people rather than just one person, right? Suddenly you have a mass of people who know you, like you, trust you. Maybe they've read maybe they've actually read the book. Now they're gonna go and tell their friends, their family, their colleagues, their network. And then now you suddenly it's not one person you spoke to. Now you got to know a community of people. Now you got to know a community of fans, community of supporters, of advocates who will go and do your marketing for you. But if you don't talk to anyone about your book, they're not gonna do any of that for you, are they? Seriously. Yeah. So get talking about your book to everyone. Yeah. Joni, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you doing? I am actually I'm in the car on the way to Indiana to meet with a supplier, so I can't be on camera. But this is one of my favorite topics, as I feel very strongly that so many people have. Oh God, weird. Sorry, never mind. Anyways, I feel like a lot of people have the ability to write a book, even if it's just voice to text, every morning, like writing something a little different. And I think marketing is absolutely essential if that you want to make money from your book. And Annie is a great person to advocate for that. But certainly be consistent in your marketing ploys. If you are going to do social media, make sure you do it once a day. And definitely really get your voice out there. Like, I'm writing this book, before you start anything, and be prepared to buy your own books so you can up your numbers and give them to local libraries or shelters or wherever you want to put them. So marketing is something that is so key, and also something a lot of people really do not understand. Good.
Well said, Joni. Well said. It's true. It's true. So marketing, a lot of people, they ignore that bit and they think it's for later. But it starts long before your book's published. Where you start thinking, who is this book for? And then you write for your audience. What do they need to know? What is their pain point? What's their problems? I know that's bad English. Now, what are the problems that your book can help with? And start talking to them, find them. Again, you might think it's a bit much for me to stand here and say to you most weeks, most events, there's my book. No, that's how you do it. You got to show. I sold a book today, so that gives me as much joy as all the sales I've made so far. I hope people will have the same attitude. Don't be shy about it. Don't be shy about talking about it.
Annie.
John Joni.
So I think that expression, you gotta spend some money to make some money, like, that is absolutely true in this community as well. It's not just like, your Robert Frost just putting out a book of poetry that's going to be Nobel laureate accolades. But I really do think the marketing piece, if you want to make money on your book, then you start early. You reach out to friends and family and colleagues and say, "Hey, I'm doing this thing, and it's really important to me, and so I'd love if you could subscribe to my landing page or whatever you may have." I mean, look at William. He's doing like a whole conference about like his book, and it's pretty awesome. But that's because he gets that marketing piece. So, there's a lot of really cool events that you may have to fork out some dollars for that can really impact your sales and get the word going. And, always have a good photographer there so that you can put them up on your social media. And I know that sounds cheesy and it's not necessarily what us writers want to do, but that is like, it's key. And get those reviews. Get reviews, reviews, reviews. Annie, you're muted.
So now you're hitting all the points, Jordan. Everything you said is totally right. Now, what can you achieve with your book sales initially? Now, as Jordan says, now when you do book signing events, for example, you might break even. Maybe you might come out a bit on top. That's fine, right? Because if you sell copies of your book, then that's a plus, right? Because when you sell your books in person, don't forget Amazon's not taking a commission because normally you put the book at author price, author copy price. But essentially, just it's worth investing in your book for your sake. So what's the second thing you can do with your book? Like I said, you can play the Amazon game, the Amazon algorithms. You want to get your book seller rank up. That way, people might actually see your book on the first few pages of search results on your topic. But the third thing you want to do, Jonah just mentioned, which I think is so important. Your third objective for your initial marketing is to get book reviews. Now, someone explained it to me today like this. If you go to a restaurant and it's empty, what do you think? Would you stay there and eat? Probably not. If someone comes to your book page, and it's empty, there's no reviews, what are they to think? If no one's eating here, why would I want to eat here? Is what they think. Get reviews, which goes back to the point Mel and I were talking about earlier, and Sarah's have mentioned it as well. Get personal. Get to know your readers. Get them to really want to read your book and buy you. Get them to want to read your book and give you a review. It's not rocket science, right? Goodness me, I've had the best day of my life now. Dr. Gwendolyn, how are you doing? It's been a long time, a long, long time.
I know. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. We can hear you and see you.
So I did not realize that. I didn't realize that I was going to be live.
Oh, well, it's my lucky day, right?
I did not realize that I was going to see you. I thought I would be not available.
In the audience. No. Look, this is God's wish. There is a God, right?
Well, it's good to talk with you.
Yes, God wants us to hear you today. Look, and that Dr. Gwendolyn is a superstar. How many books have you got? 16, 18, 19 more?
Somewhere like that. I've been doing it for a long time, since I think I published my first book in 1987. I was a classroom teacher.
Oh, 87. I was 13.
I know. That's a long time ago.
I like that. No, I like that. Of course, and so of course, your books were published by traditional publishing houses as well, right?
I did. I was so busy. At that time I was a director of literacy in a school district. And then from there, I started working for, it was Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. I was a
Hmm.
Southwest regional consultant for them. And so I was writing on the side. And so I've been kind of moving back and forth. But at this point in my life, I'm able to stay home and actually write and then go out and train when I want to. So I this last year I have my new book out, Who Says I Can't, and then I have two new children's books. So I'm spending my time actually writing and reading and researching at the same time.
Oh, wow. So one day, I'm going to talk about the research that authors do. So hopefully you join us then and answer the conversation as well.
Okay,
But
thank you.
I'm so glad you're here today. Look, what can we learn from you in terms of the results of your initial book marketing? Try and think back to one of your early books, your first book, even your latest book. So what is the experience of marketing that book in terms of? A lot of people think it's about revenue. They think they're going to get rich. They think publish a book, sell now, market a book, I'll get rich. How does it really work?
Well, number one, I can show you. Well, everything that I've ever written has been published, has been through a publishing house. So I guess the first thing, you're not going to get rich off of children's books unless someone is really pushing it. I've been with Holiday House since 1987. And so they just kind of move it. They have their system of moving it. And I'm not looking to get rich because I already have another job. So I just look forward to the in a year, I get 2 royalty checks. Now, if they're promoting it to publishing houses for children's books, other children's books, and also for reading books, then I think I made about $21,000 overall for that one book because they sold it to, I think it was Pearson, and it was in their reading program. So that was the largest amount. The rest of it could be, one year I think I made $100,000 because I had to push it myself. I just sent books and things, flyers and things to librarians, and they invited me to come aboard. They ordered the books, and I just arrived there to present. And with that, I talked to kids, and then I talked with teachers. I did a writer's workshop for teachers. So I have been kind of marketing myself. For this new book now, someone told me that I needed to be on LinkedIn. So I got on, I started writing articles, and people are now tuned in. So the other day I had about 400 and some thousand viewers just looking and reading my articles. So I guess I'm kind of doing it now, promoting through my writing, through my research. And those are my followers, like principals, superintendents, those people who are looking for the kind of work that I do. And I've been very intentional about doing that. So as far as money, I'm not wealthy, but because I promoted myself and the publishing houses have a streamline that they use, I've done pretty good.
You've done amazing. Clearly, you've done amazing. I mean, those sort of numbers make us all go, wow. I'm sure they make me go, wow, anyway. But
Well, when I say and when I talk about that, people want to know, okay, so do you make a lot of money? But my point is not the money. The point is the work that you have to do to move it. Because if you're not doing anything to move it, then you can't expect anything to happen. But my joy is that there are parents, there are teachers, there are kids who love the work that I do. That's the most important thing. So if I didn't make a penny, I would be okay with that. So
yeah, again, so I'm going crazy. I say I'm one of your email recipients, and I guess our friends here they will never know how many emails you send, and then the work you put into writing constantly and engaging people constantly.
and you know what? I didn't know to do that, but I did some research and I found out that like early morning is a good time that people are out there reading it. Then just before 12 o'clock at night, people are reading and moving through it. So I've done that research on what happens. I understand the algorithms that take place when you're putting things out there. So I've done a research on when to post, when not to post, what kinds of things will kind of go viral. But I make sure that I have things that people are looking for. What are the pain points that people or have in their schools that they're trying to change? And since my degrees are I have a bachelor's degree in elementary education and kindergarten. I have a master's degree in literacy, and then my PhD is in leadership, literacy, and cognition. And then I worked with Professor Ruben Feuerstein on cognition, how to change the minds of children. So I was in Paris working with him for about 5 years and his cognitive team. So all of my education, every time I write something, it's about where I've been, what I've studied. So it's not like someone else has said it, but I've had experiences. And then I go back and look at what researchers are saying about it. I think that authenticity is what people are really looking for, and they gravitate to my articles.
Yeah, like I said, there's much we can all learn from you for sure.
But thank you for the opportunity. I'm still shocked that I'm live because I just came from exercising, and all of a sudden I looked up, here I am. So
you look glorious. Look, Platine, I see you. Welcome. So he's watching from the guy from Zambia. And so the legend in the great say, Dr. Levert, you're rich.
No, I'm not.
Most people don't sell 50 books. They're lucky if they do. Most people don't sell 50 books. I think that's the other reality. But again, I think you're a perfect example of the work it takes, the commitment to the cause, and I think also the passion for the work, like the people you're writing for. I think let's not miss that point. Now, so this lady's written so many books, and it's her business. It's really nice. It's her life. But meanwhile, she's still there to serve the kids and the schools and make those changes. If you don't,
a great example of book to business, isn't that right?
Yes, but I think there's a passion that Dr. Levert has that I don't think I think it's very hard to explain. You don't write yes. Cyrus, there's a funny noise. There's a funny thing. The gremlins have got you again, Cyrus. Anyway, so Cyrus, you have to reset your device, Cyrus. No, all we can hear is that horrible buzzing noise. Cyrus, very annoying.
Annie, I would like to say one other thing.
Please feel free.
I would like to say another thing that's so important as a writer, and you're trying to promote yourself, you have to belong to a writers organization. That is essential. So tomorrow I'm going to a writers conference because I want to learn how to write romance books. I don't know why I want to write romance books, but I do. So I'm going to a conference that's going to be all day. So, and then I've taken like within the last 3 months, I've gone and to hear editors talk about the the work they do and what kind of work they are accepting. So this has been one, I think one was with Macmillan, then Pearson, and another one that I'm not quite sure of. But I make sure that monthly I attend a workshop, a writer's workshop, and I hear editors talk about what they are accepting, what they're not accepting, and also what a story looks like for them, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. So I think you need to be current in the things that you're doing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, learning and realizing that on day one we're not the finished article is important. And I think very few authors I know have that mindset that you have, to keep learning and to keep refining the skills, right?
I
You know,
didn't know that there was such a thing as a writers guild. That's very fascinating right there, Dr. Levert. And if you can provide some information with respect to where you're going and what you're doing out there. I
Okay.
don't know where you are, but
I'm
I'd be
sorry, I
interested.
didn't tell that. I'm still kind of shocked because Annie brought me on. Um, uh, Let me tell you, I'm in outside of Dallas, Texas. I'm in the suburbs. It's called the mid cities. And so, but I'm in Dallas, Texas. But
I was there about 6 months ago, so I'm in
wow.
California at the moment. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
All
the
right.
society, when I first decided, I started writing as a first grade teacher because I had a group. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a group of kids from the projects, they call them low housing projects. And so they weren't reading. And so I started writing stories for them. And when I knew anything, I had a whole set of stories. But then I thought, I need to be certified, or I need something to show that I'm a real writer, not just writing. So I found the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. And it's still around. You can still join that organization, the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. And I took a course and I was certified to write children's books. And then I started going to their conferences. Also, the International Literacy Association is another place to go. That's where I would go every year as a literacy specialist, but I would go because the editors are there. And that's where I met Holiday House and also the president of Holiday House. And they accepted one of my manuscripts. I also met Albert Whitman. So those are two that you could look into going to their conferences. And then the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, they have their organization statewide. So any state you can go into and go to some of their sessions. But look them up and decide where you want to go or when you want to go, and that's good.
Yeah, that's great advice. It really is. I think, Michael, people underestimate the value of book writers and book readers clubs. Say I don't hide it. The reason I can guarantee a bestseller is because I have a readers club who will buy the books that we say buy, the numbers that we say buy them, and read the books and give reviews. If we tell them to give reviews, right? I'm saying that's where, but it's part of this initial marketing that I'm talking about today. Build relationships, build those networks. Maybe they won't make you rich today, but they will come good in time. Whether there's education, whether there's support, whether there's skills that you might need. We have to learn to build this network. Start building this network, plant the seeds that Sarah talked about earlier. This Levert didn't get here by accident. It's taking years of deliberate, intentional work. You see, there's one thing you said, which I think people might have to realize as well, Dr. Gwendolyn, is the fact that your first book is never your best. Never. Never in a month of Sundays. So be prepared to rewrite your book and maybe relaunch it. Sharpen your sword, learn something, and to go again. Because that just might be what pushes it over the edge, over the precipice, and actually into the world of readers that you're looking for. there's much we can learn from you for sure. And don't blame me. I didn't bring you in the studio. You came in the studio. If you're here, I'm not gonna bring you on stage, right?
But Kenny, I have to tell you another story. So I worked in the Middle East and came back in 2016, and I became a principal of a low performing school. So in 1 year under my administration, we moved the school from a F school to a B school. When the pandemic hit, and you're talking about COVID, when the pandemic hit, I had purchased a house here in the Dallas area. And so I moved to it and I started writing Who Says I Can't. Well, my daughter went to, and I kept sending out emails to my former publishers, but no one was in the offices. They were at home working, and so no one was picking up. So I thought they were kind of ignoring me, and I'm thinking, but I left on a good relationship, so I couldn't figure that out. So my daughter went to a vegetable market in our area, and when she met the organizer of the market, and she told the organizer about me, Fran. She said, Fran, this is my mother, da 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 da. So the next Saturday I went, and Fran said, well, Leslie tells me that you write children's books. And I said, I do. So she said, my sister is the VP of a publishing house. And I said, really? What publishing house is that? She said, Holiday House in New York. And I said, well, what is your sister's name? And she told me, and I said, I know your sister. And so she said, oh my gosh. She said, well, I'm going to tell her about you. And so she did. The next day, I received an email from her sister. This book is Off to School, and it was the first book that Holiday House printed for me or published for me. This book became a Smithsonian Children's Honor book. And so I said, oh my gosh. And then her sister sent me this long letter and told me about this book, which is Papa's Mark. And Papa's Mark was the last book. This is the one that made me the most money because it was purchased by, I think it was Pearson. But anyway, she said, I'm going to put you in touch with one of our editors and she will talk with you. Well, about a week later, the editor sent me a message and said, we want to bring back Papa's Mark. And they did. And this one became a Coretta Scott King honor book. This is the second time this book came around, and it happened through a connection at a vegetable market.
No, that's brilliant, right? That is truly brilliant. I said earlier, we need to talk about our book everywhere we go. Just thank goodness to your daughter as well.
I know.
We all need friends like that, friends who will talk about our books when we're not there.
Yep.
This is not a myth. This is truth. This is why I said I want to tell you how to also really make money and really get the results they get. With their first books. Because it takes all of this to make it work, right?
Yes.
There's no end of talking that we need to do. So Linda, I hear you loud and clear. When I say Dr. Levert is rich, I mean rich in knowledge and wisdom. She certainly has all of that, right? We're all rich. Hopefully she can actually come back on stage and share with us, going forward. No, don't be a stranger though. Come on, Dr.
All
Levert.
right. Well, take me down so I can go.
You made our day. You made my day for sure, right? Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
We'll talk soon. You take care. Thank you so much. Michael? I've lost Michael as well. Michael,
No, I'm still here. You haven't lost me.
Are you still exercising, or have you finished now?
Oh, I'm done exercising. I'm at work right now, just trying to get through it. We're still live, right?
Yeah, of course. I'll tell
okay.
you now. I'll let you know when we're not.
Okay.
But look, I think it's hard to follow Dr. Gwendolyn, really. I think.
No, she's a star. She really is. And just like you indicated, she's very she's really passionate about what she does, and
Mm.
passionate about and an incredibly energetic, intelligent woman. Don't
Yeah.
forget that she is the type of person you really want to stick by and get close to and follow. Plus,
Mm.
I think she's also got a book that she is promoting. She
Yeah,
just
and
recently,
I forgot to get her to show us a book, her latest
yeah,
one.
yeah. Well, if she comes by next time, just ask her or you can actually find it and promote it yourself.
Yeah.
It is interesting what she's wanting to do and what she's capable of doing, and that's why I sent her the invite to come to join. And somehow I believe she clicked in, and then
Yeah, no,
it was not by accident.
it wasn't me to blame. Dr. Gwendolyn is him.
It was, yes, it was me. I was very enamored with what she had done, and so I sent her the invite. And
Awesome. Thank you. I say thank you
yeah,
for that. Look,
it was good to hear her.
yeah, from hearing from someone like that, so from someone like Dr. Gwendolyn, hopefully puts everything that we've said today into context, into the context of this is not theory. This is the reality for new authors, right?
Yes, yes. She is what you are talking about.
Yes, exactly that. I said, but there are many more. Even in our little world, there's that Paulette. Paulette sold 3,500 copies of Jack and Water books.
Yes,
Right.
she's another example. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the other day, there was that 60 more that was sold the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That you're helping with.
Yeah.
Let me say this, my friends. I give away my books free of charge to many people. And I say that for people to realize giving away your book free is not a bad thing. Yes, you don't make money from it, but you will make money from it in the end. You never know who you give your book to that would put it in the right place. Now, Paulette has many friends in the US who put her books in libraries. But then there's the strategy of selling her books as a series. I'm trying to give people some things to take away from us today, Mike. If you can write enough books, 3 books makes a series on Amazon, right? So create a series, you sell more. And then if you have a series, we can play the game of we play the game of series. So the Amazon game more like, do you give away the first one free of charge? Do you lower the price of the first one to the minimum? That way they can, but people who don't tend to just want to read one book in a series, want to read all of them. So they get one low price, and then they have the other 2 they can pay good money for. That's how series tend to work. I'm saying, but now you have to put the work in as Gwendolyn has in the first place. Number 1, do the work. Write the book, but keep learning, because take it from me, your first marketing activities and campaign will suck. It will fail. If all you're doing is LinkedIn posts, for example, you'll fail. Trust me. If all you're doing is Facebook ads for your book, you'll fail. Whatever you do, we have to learn, and we learn by doing with time. My co-host for this event when I started with Dr. Ava. I still remember going to her book launch in a hotel in Croydon. In London, literally a small. It's small. No, it was a Hilton, but it wasn't a central London big Hilton hotel for tourists. It was more outer London, little Hilton for people who might be going to an airport like Gatwick. Yeah, so I remember that event. I think there was probably about 12 people there, if that. It took Dr. Ava 8 years of marketing her book, living her book, before she got invited to have the book made into a film. Look, as time passes for you, for all of us, I think we have to be open to opportunities, but we must keep our books alive. We must, front of mind, front of our mind, front of other people's minds too, and keep believing in the reason we read the book, the mission, the cause. Because Gwendolyn made that point very well.
And don't be afraid to pursue hospitality, because it is within hospitality that you will find your numbers. And I say that because anytime when you grew up and you went to visit your friends, it was very nice to be invited into their houses and then, be accommodated with food and drink, which made you comfortable and receptive to what they had to say later on. You do the same thing with the books. And if you do that in real life, as you're promoting your books, people are going to be very comfortable communicating with you, because you put them in a space where they can be comfortable to receive the information that you're trying to promote. And that being the case, they are also going to promote your books as well, because people are, they like to socialize. They like to have something to talk about. They love doing that. It is innate. So for you to love that and actually do it for a purpose and do it often, you'll find yourself putting yourself in comfortable positions more often than not, and then eventually reaping from that as a result. And it is definitely going to be a reap. So as you sow, you will reap. But sow
Okay, so
diligently.
exactly, yes. Now, where we started from, my friend, planting seeds, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words. Your book, my book about living experience, of COVID, is very impactful. Thank you so much. So Michael and I, we're working on another one. How I cheated death. How I survived. I guess how people survive life limiting illnesses is what we're writing about. And I say I can't wait, but I'm trying to get a clear head, a clear desk, a clear schedule before I can run at that. But I will start running at that soon. If that appeals to anyone, please do get in touch. So Michael has done a lot of work to write his chapter in the book. So there are a few more. I think Joni's another one who's on our list as well. Well, that's in the book. So I've got a good core group to start. So so we're looking for 10, 12 people, and then we'll go from there. But there's many other books. But thank you so much. Now, Michael, I think we do have to learn our lessons and learn to do the right thing, right? It is what's in our souls, but it's wonderful when your book helps people. But again, like I always say, Michael, when we help people, and give them what they more than they expected from us, hospitality as you call it, they will pay us in more than we expect. That's how the world works. Think of what you do when people truly exceed your expectations. You're not just going to buy the book, read the book, and put it down. You're going to buy the book, read the book, tell other people about the book, do a review, do other good things in life. That's going to help that book to help more people that you know. That's what we all need. But we do need to build those relationships, Mark. We do need to be present in those situations where there are other people. Do more than just the basic. Cyrus, I wonder whether you're back in a conversational mood.
Yeah, I think I am.
Better. I was scared to call you. I thought
Mate, I was kicked off. I was kicked off 5 times.
That's all I was hearing was.
That noise Michael was making is what you sounded like, and
That
I was scared.
That was my soul complaining about LinkedIn. Oh, so basically regarding the buy my book, read my book, and stuff like that, I just wanted to say, we're talking about authors. Okay, let's talk about readers for a second, right? Because who is it you're writing it for? Most of the authors that I know, they are writing it for themselves. That's why they don't make a lot of sales. When you make your readers feel that you're writing it for them, it is there and then when that connection gets created, right? So um, giving a free copy of your book, helping someone solve a problem, going to someone's live events and co-piloting with them and helping them with their live event. I don't know, sharing someone's live event. These are the good things that you can do to help furthering someone else's cause. And when it's time for them to help you, then they will help you further your cause. So we're constantly asking other people to read our book. Oh, thank you for reading it. Now leave a review. And by the way, please make sure it's a good one. Give me 5 stars. So all of that, and there's still no guarantee your book, all 200, 300 pages of it, is gonna help someone solve a problem. So doing what Dr. Gwen did is something I would recommend as well. Do a little bit of research. Find the pain points, what those pain points are. If you don't do this bit, the sales stats are going to be low because people feel that there's no helpfulness in your pages, and it's just a money marketing effort. Okay, and if you want to get people to make you rich, give them a good reason, right? If the intention is for you to get rich because of, or should I say, due to writing that book, yes, it's fine. We're all in it to win it, but give them a proper reason to like you, to share you, to recommend you, to own your book, right? And have you ever heard people say, oh, I love my iPhone? What do you mean you love your iPhone? Your iPhone is not your mom or your dad or your sister or brother. What do you mean? I love such and such product or brand. What do you mean by that? They feel that brand of book or that brand of product is irreplaceable. Once you achieve that level of irreplaceability, it is there and then that you should feel rich. Okay, so the riches will come to you. You don't have to follow or chase them. So once you get the customers or get your viewers or readers to the level where they feel you are irreplaceable or hard to replace, that's the irreplaceability level, and that's a legendary level. I hope we all get to that level. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Sarah. So again, so many gems there. And Mr. Z, you got here in the end. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. Check StreamYard. StreamYard is doing funny things today. My first event, so the form started off, just got locked off randomly, right? 17 seconds in, and he just turned off, Mr. Z. So welcome. Mr. Z is one of my co-authors on our Lessons We Learned from COVID, and we are doing this positivity book as well. So we're working on our group positivity book as we speak. So I'm excited by that. Thank you for. I'm glad you're here. Now, Cyrus, look. Now how do we know what readers want? So of course I'm going to do a room about authors' research, the research authors do, right? The how. How do we do that? And how do we actually do the research that's going to be meaningful and give us information?
Yeah, that's the subject of a full event, Annie, which I can imagine is something that you will have to do because people can benefit from it, right? And but my answer to that question is, don't write about something you haven't experienced or don't know a great deal about. Otherwise, you're going to end up writing about something that makes you look bad, leaves your readers stranded, like 40, 50 pages in. They're going to wonder, oh, what the hell is it I'm reading? Because we've all been there, haven't we? So it should not, if it's a proper book, it should not be just a money-making effort, because people will find out about it. And once they find out about it, good or bad, they will talk about it. Mostly behind your back. And that is what a brand is. Your perception in somebody's head behind your back. That's branded.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a useful one. My accountant has distracted me. It's a bit silly because I don't know what that is. Where's that come from? That's very weird. Okay. Open AI's payment method declined. I don't know what that means. Okay, that's Chat GPT, right? I don't understand. Okay.
Yeah, ChatGPT is OpenAI. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're being paid. They have no reason to be talking to me. So that's obviously going to be a scam email from somewhere.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. They never contact people regarding payments.
I know. I know they've been paid, so I don't need to worry now. But so it's so easy to get caught out with these scam emails, right? Look, my friends, I think we need to learn to build relationships. If a lot of people, Cyrus and Michael, a lot of people are scared. They think one at a time is too slow. They can't see that one at a time builds a community that then becomes a flood. But please take it from me, one at a time is good enough. You can do two at a time, great. I'm not saying deliberately slow yourself down. I'm saying, just be taking steps forward. Plant those seeds. Each person that you talked about in your book is a good thing. They will help you in the end. Look, let's
Dr. Gwen,
go on, please, Sarah. Go on, carry on.
Dr. Gwen was a good example, Annie. Dr. Gwen was an example. One at a time is not too slow.
By building relationships, right? And it's nowhere. Of course, it's not too slow, but everyone wants everything in a hurry, and that's not how the world works. And if you meet someone who tells you they're gonna make you a millionaire, by marketing your book, laugh and then turn away and walk away, right?
If you're in a rush, you can work faster. You can work more. You can work harder. You can work faster.
Yeah.
It is doable.
Yeah. No. Look. So let me recap the how that I think I'm hoping that you take away from here today. The how do you do more? How do you achieve those goals? The goal not being to generate revenue necessarily, unless you're going to do other things, right? Apart from selling books, it's not going to make you a millionaire. It's just not. As we've said repeatedly, let's work on planting seeds, because these are the foundations for our book sales later on. And what does that really mean? That means, first of all, understand the Amazon game, understand the Amazon algorithm. I'm not saying delve into it as if you're a techie. Just understand that your book has to be visible on Amazon, and you need to get that bestseller rank, that bookseller rank up. You need to get your book noticed by Amazon. Say when there's 1.5 million books a year on Amazon published, you must make your book stand out. Of course, what we say in this room, Dr. Ava used to say very well, write a great book, get an amazing cover, get an attractive cover. If you want to knock one up yourself, good luck. If you're a graphic designer, okay. If you're not a graphic designer, get someone who can design covers to design your book. Your cover is your first and most important marketing tool. If your book looks rubbish, people will think it's rubbish, right? If your book looks amateurish, they think it's, of course, designers can help you. I'm not saying you can't do it, ChatGPT. I'll certainly try, but I don't expect to settle for what ChatGPT gives me. Even though I know I do amazing designs on there. I'm no designer. I learned from Cyrus how to prompt ChatGPT to get to what I want. But make sure your book looks good, and then make sure you write a good book, error-free. Get editors, get proofreaders, get the book done properly. Don't scrimp on those things, my friends. And then get your book in the hands of readers, even whether that's before you publish. Everyone. Well, I say everyone. We can all have reader circles to read our draft, our manuscript, before and there you will learn more about what readers want. This is how you get a book done, and this is how you get a book that looks good on Amazon. Second thing, my friend, launch your book. Do a book launch. Don't be scared. Do a book launch. Have a party. Your book deserves a party, right? You have to celebrate the birth of your book. Now, at the book launch, you can do so many things. One of the things that you can definitely do is go for Amazon bestseller. And I hear people waffle, whiffle, Cyrus and Michael. They waffle rubbish. They're like, "Oh, bestseller is not worth it. It's just stop crying." Yes, I know how to get bestseller, and I can guarantee the service because we have tools. It doesn't mean the fact that I can drive faster down the road because I've got a faster car than other people. It's not a crime. The fact that you can get bestseller because you know what categories your book is in and should win and can win, and you've got your buyers lined up to buy your book on one day for Amazon, doesn't make you a bad person. You just have to learn the rules of the game. Otherwise, let's talk. So becoming a bestseller on Amazon instantly raises your bestseller rank. Not because I cheat. We don't cheat. I get buyers to buy your book. Again, many other people will cheat. They will try tricks. The tricks they try is things like, they'll do almost like what they call it, like a pre-launch, right? A pre-launch of your book. Where people buy your book. Now people order your book, pre-order. That's what it's called. They order your book on Amazon, and you basically hope that enough people order your book in advance to. When you press go on your book, then that order sales count on one day, which is fine. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Some people give their books away free of charge on book launch day. Through Amazon, like it's not KDP, it's Amazon membership, Amazon Prime membership, right? So just make sure you're getting your real buyers, real readers for your book. I don't care how you do it. I can do it. And my way to have real readers buy your book. But to go for a bestseller, you might as well go for hot new release. And again, if you can get both of those things, if your book can be a hot new release on Amazon, your bookseller rank goes up. Your book becomes more visible. Amazon will put you on page 100. In your categories, they'll put you on the first 3 pages. It makes a difference, my friends. See, Dr. Gwendolyn mentioned how you get all that done. The emails that you have to send. Again, connect and engage with your network. If you've got family and friends, if you don't tell them about your book, why would they know to buy your book? Email is a perfect way that you can tell your family and friends, my book is here, my book is coming, my book is here. Go buy it. Emails is also a great way to keep in touch with people. Let's learn to leverage emails. It's for my clients. I do email marketing as part of our book launch process, right? Of course, I do events as well.
Can I add something to that? My book is here part, and is that all right?
Go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you sending them to buy the book, just sending them to buy the book. So just imagine someone is asking you the same thing, right? They say to you, go and buy my book. My book is here. The first thing that comes to your mind is, well, yeah, we are friends, but I don't need that book. Why is it that I have to buy your book? Is it just support? So when you're sending them the book, to buy the book, explain to them, my book is here, go and support me. Or even better, you can tell them, my book is here. You know that problem you had with your child? I have solved that problem in that book. Go and read it and have your get your child's problem solved. Like Paulette's example. She published that book, and it tackles the childhood fears and anxieties, right? So you have to either ask them, because it's in the human psyche, like it's a deep-seated thing. You have to tell them why you're asking them to do something. So go and show your support for me, or I have solved such and such problem in it, and you will benefit from it. So you have to explain to them who's going to benefit from that. That's all I want to add.
No, 100%. Now, look, I tend to send a week's load of emails. So that team and us 5. By the time we get to launch day, people know why they should buy the book. They know what the book's about anyway. They know what we're working on to try and get bestseller, try and get the rankings on Amazon, right? So we're quite clear. So when I'm glad you mentioned Paulette, Cyrus, because Paulette is my best client because that's why she sold 3,500 books. I'll tell you what she does before any of our book launches. She calls everyone on her email list. She calls them. She meets with them. She speaks with them. Again, my clients who do that, they want to go all out, to re-engage those that I've spoken to for a long time, to engage everyone, to make sure Grant knows why you want her to buy the book, to make sure Grant, your friends knows why they want to buy. Don't just send an email and then sit back and think, oh, my job is done. You use it as a chance to reignite your relationships if they're dormant. And then obviously keep them going. It helps me, it helps you. I'm not going to be shy. Those my friends who do it, getting a bestseller is guaranteed. It's easier for me to achieve, Cyrus. I tell my clients I'm saying it aloud here as well. Whether you're here or watching a replay, I'm saying here's how it works. I guarantee to get my book readers club to buy enough books to make you a bestseller. That's my service to you, right? But I want you to be an international bestseller. And I want you to win a lot more than one category. To win an international bestseller means you have to win a category in 2 or more countries. The more work that you do to engage your community, your network, the people on your email list, your LinkedIn friends, your Facebook friends, your family, I could carry on saying the more you engage those people and to speak to them, the more you get them to buy the book, the more categories you're going to win. This is why my friends win 14 categories across 5 countries. They connect. They want to engage the LinkedIn friends, go to their events, as you mentioned, Cyrus. DM them. Comment on their posts, talk to them. Hell, talk to people. Why? No, that's how it works. Those who do all that, Cyrus, they get in the tens of bestseller awards at top new releases. So my joy when Paulette got 16 hot new releases, 8 hot new releases. No, let me change that. Let me say it properly. 16 hot new releases and 16 bestsellers for our last book, New School Niggles. I couldn't be happier. But I know the work she's done to get that level of engagement. Her friends turn up because she knows what she likes and she talks to them. Anyway, I don't want to be there for too long. Look, you're going to have to do the event itself, the launch event itself. And of course, you're going to have to try and sell your book at launch price. Many people try and, I don't know what thing they're playing at. You can't launch your book at $20. You just can't. Especially if you haven't done the work that we just talked about. Not enough people are going to buy the book for you to sell every other book on the planet in that day in your categories. Launch price is 99 cents, $1.99 thereabouts. I fear Joni's dinosaur book is a huge file. I wonder what Amazon's going to tell us to sell it for. But we'll find out soon. Look, after your launch event where you've done the work, you got the awards. Amazon will credit you with higher ranking, and you see your book showing up more in search. After that, do book events. I'm sorry, it gives me so much joy, Cyrus, when I see my friends doing book signings, speaking on stages. They're going out there, meeting the readers. Again, part of the research, right? You can't just call a local venue and say, right, can I rent your space to do book signing for an afternoon? Again, you take some print copies with you, and you go, you meet people, your community. Strange that. Engage with them. In worst case, call your local bookstore and see if they do book, let you people do book events. I bet they'll say yes. I'm not a great fan of putting your book in bookstores, but I'm saying at least there are people who read books come to their venue, right? Don't be shy. Don't just sit back on your sofa and think the book's going to sell itself. It's not. Get out there, meet people, do events. Create merchant. Design merchandise, bags, pens, cups, all sorts of merchandise that people that your audience might actually want. Again, as Cyrus is pointing to, if you know your audience, you know what they're going to enjoy, what they're going to want to take home with them. They might even buy the stuff. I'm saying if you don't create it, they can't buy that stuff, right? So let's make sure that we're using our book for what it's for. All you're trying to do is make friends and create memories. And if your teacup, with your brand on it, is in someone's house, how many times are they going to see your brand? How many times are the family going to see your brand? How many times are their friends going to see your brand, your name, your website? I tell you, it's not rocket science, really. Look, leverage your book to generate income apart from book sales. If you want income, do speaking gigs, create a course, create a coaching program. Book sales is not the only thing you can do with your book. As Dr. Laverne said, go and talk to groups. Go and talk to people that you want to serve. Use your book as a business card. Use that to open doors. Selling your book at 99 cents is not going to make you rich. I say again. Speaking gigs now could pay you thousands. But you got to do the work. You got to start somewhere. Work your way up. Learn. As Sandra Botha has done, learn. Learn how to be a speaker. Put together, your speaker pack. Create your speaker reel. This is not by accident. This is not by accident. This is something that you have to do deliberately with intention. So there's only one more. There's two more. So my next advice to you is talk about your book everywhere. Queues, schools, buses, trains. If there's humans, talk about your book online. These events are not, they're here for a reason. Put events on. Dr. Professor Roxana does that. She puts events on randomly, and then she just turn up and talk. You can do the same. But we all do. We're not crazy. We do it because we sell books. But more than that, we'll build relationships with people who come to speak, who come to listen. Our friends come to have a good time. I'm saying these are all things that we can all do. But so essentially, all we do is talking and being visible, making our book visible. Which takes me to my last point. Keep your book alive. Whatever it takes, even if you think the book has flopped, still talk about it, my friends. Have the passion for your book. Have the passion for the solution that you're here to provide. And have the passion for the audience you're here to serve. Don't let that die. If that dies, your book is dead. And I can't help you if your book is dead, right? But keep your book alive. Someone might just find it and realize this is the answer to the question they've been asking that Sarah was talking about. It just might be, right? If you kill your book yourself by letting it literally disappear amongst Amazon's 1.5 million books a year, 10 years, cool, 10 million books. I gotta find your book. I'm saying this is the reality we all face. This is the real results that authors get. You make friends, improve book sales. You're gonna find people who are gonna leave you reviews on Amazon, and you're gonna get your book higher up the rankings on Amazon as well. Meanwhile, you have the joy Michael talked about of knowing that you've provided a solution that helps people. And then eventually you're gonna start making money in your books. Because with Gwendolyn, who knows what, 35 years you've been writing? I tell you. Cyrus, Michael, if you want to say something, I'll let you have the last word before we go, my friends. Michael. No, Cyrus unmuted. Cyrus, feel free. Michael's
Yeah, so
thinking.
thank you. Today has been one of the best sessions you've had on this subject, Annie. Congratulations. It's been a really successful subject. The guests you invited to the stage, especially Dr. Gwen, they were inspiring and just gave me fresh ideas, and I just wrote them down as well. Also, back to the point you made earlier, about creating courses out of the subject matter from your book. It's such a beautiful strategy. It works, and it works, brother. It works. Why? Because you can teach people using the subject you have taught in your book, and you would be in breach of no copyright at all, because that is your own subject. It's your own property, right? So I have created a database for a course on branding, right? And I'm going to create shorts from the book that I haven't even published yet. Okay, so I have created like interactive content using the first book, the Tale of Bono Binote. So there's plenty of stuff that you can do, right? And if I can do it, honestly, anyone can do it, because with the different language models, or as we call them, AI, different language models, even sky isn't the limit, right? Sky is the limit. So if what you're trying to write, this is to answer Zara's problem. Zara mentioned my mom has written a book in her original language, which is not English. It's absolutely fine. Write it in your own language, because your solution was a fantastic one, Annie. Write it in your own language and get ChatGPT to translate it. Then in the edit, you can correct the mistakes, like interlingual problems between two languages.
Yeah,
so you can solve those problems later through edit. But the main thing is write the first chapter. That's my message to people who are contemplating writing it. I didn't write it for 5 years, and then I went to your events and another gentleman's events, and I realized, yeah, there is a book in me, and I should write it. And that's how I started writing that book, and I'm so much more satisfied with work. Trust me. As soon as you finish the first one, it's a liberating experience. I would definitely recommend that. Thank you.
Thank you. That Dr. Gwendolyn becomes addictive, Cyrus. I met so many people who say, I haven't got, no, I'm not going to write a book. By the time you finish the conversation, they got 5 books planned. All of us have a memoir in us, at least, right? I'm saying, that's the least we have. We have many more books than that. Our expertise. You mentioned earlier, Cyrus. What have we been through? The saying, "My pain is my gain." How can you leverage your pain to help others avoid the pain or deal with the pain? That's why we write books. But thank you, Cyrus. Great insights, my friend. Always useful. Always. Michael, please, I give you the mic.
All right, can you hear me?
Mike's on the mic, loud and clear.
Fantastic. Cyrus, last time I think you dropped off when I was saying something about you. I'm basically just to let you know is that travel at your own pace, the one that suits you, and the one that and that's the pace that makes you great. Because that's the one that opens you up to the world. And by the way, the universe has dictated that you need that pace in order to produce what you need to produce or what it needs you to produce for the rest of humankind or even for the rest of the universe in order to fix it. I can't travel at your pace. You're the only one who can do that, it seems like. And not necessarily just you, but I'm sure there are other people who can do the same thing. But at the same time, it's your altitude, and it is something that I really envision or want to reach at some point, is to be able to travel at that pace. But for now, the gift is yours, per the universe's edict. I believe that everybody has, like Annie has indicated, a book in them, and that book is something that's going to make the universe better. It is your part in actually creating and making the universe better. So get to it. Help us all get there where we can have a better universe, because that's what I'm looking for. I came, I found the universe. I didn't like what I found. What I'm going to do, make it better. That's my purpose. That's your purpose. Get to it. Let's get together if we need to get together in order to get that accomplished, because I'm happy to do that anytime, any place, anywhere. Just find me, and we'll get cracking. That's about it. Annie, thanks.
Beautifully said, my friend. But I think you are a perfect. Cyrus, I see your additions. I'll come to that. So I'll come to that before we go. Michael, you're the perfect example of belief that you can, right? And then also, you demonstrate what I think we can all learn from, which is the reality that opportunity will come to you if you commit to tell your story, whatever that story is, for others to learn from. Opportunity will come to you. It's whether you see the opportunity and take it. Now, if you're here or if you listen to this on the replay, maybe now's your time, right? Get in touch. If not with me, then get in touch with the other people here. Most everyone here has written a book, right? Almost everyone here has gone on the bandwagon to tell the story. I'm saying, get in touch with them. What can you learn from Dr. Roxana? What can you learn from America? I said, what can you learn from Luz? What can you learn from Joni? These are they would say, my friend Lisa. Lisa is a 3-time international best-selling co-author. I'm saying, what can you learn from her? If you don't reach out and take that first step, you're not going to get there. I'm not saying that you're never going to get there. I'm saying you can get there quicker if you take that step. Now, talk to Zion, talk to Linda, Linda the legend, I always call her. Now, talk to people around you. You find that many have taken the road that you're trying to take, that you're thinking of taking. And when you see an opportunity, take it. You get there quicker, as Michael says, and that's what the universe needs you to do. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for bearing with me for our technical disaster. It's not easy to set up a new room mid-event. My friends still turn up. It's a joy. Cyrus, talk to me. What are you thinking?
I was thinking, creating those meaningful connections between yourself, your friends, and even people you don't know, is gonna bring you a lot of wanted or unwanted traffic, okay, towards your LinkedIn page, and that is when things become exciting. So as soon as someone writes the book, they start marketing, right? Please do not limit your marketing efforts. Start your marketing before you publish.
Yeah.
And
start today.
And just socialize and publicize. Basically, that's my advice really. So I got to know Michael. I think it's been a year now. So um, so we sometimes talk about music, about different things really. And you guys have heard the difficult questions that Mike sometimes asks because he's not famous for asking easy questions. So um, so that tells me he's a thinker, and I, personally I love thinkers, and that the live events that Any has created in itself is a think tank, and I feel privileged to be part of and a student really in this think tank. So um, so Mike spoke with me about the unapologetically Black newsletter. I'm not sure if you can hear me, Mike.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Loud and clear, bro.
yeah,
Loud and clear.
excellent. So what I've done is I created a track for Michael, and that's the surprise I had for Mike. Let's listen to a little bit of that track.
Okay. Am I pressing play?
Supporting Black communities in the new world order. We love our heritage, a global love, no border. The past wasn't the best, but the future will be better. Subscribe to the Unapologetically Black newsletter. Subscribe to the Unapologetically Black newsletter.
Woo!
I hope you like it, mate.
That was awesome. Yeah, hey, man.
It is emotional now, Cyrus. Yeah,
Yeah. You blew that out. You blew that out of the park, and you used some very difficult words put together, and that is awesome. That is absolutely and utterly awesome. This is what I know that you can do. Okay, I love it. I love it. I'll buy it. How
That's
much are you
great.
selling it for? I'll buy
No,
it.
it's a gift. It's a gift. I'm not selling it to you, mate. It's a gift. Because you thought, yeah, because you thought it's a worthy cause. Um, I'm I didn't second guess you. Even though I read a little bit of that newsletter and found out, I got a feel of it and realized what is it they're pursuing, etc., etc. Then I felt the passion in your words about them, and passion just moves mountains, mate. I knew you wouldn't be passionate about such a thing for no reason,
Yeah.
and you told me they are worthy of growing further. So that's the reason why I made that. So I'm gonna finish the post production and send you a copy of it.
I'd certainly appreciate. I'd certainly appreciate that, and thank you very much. And you're right. When you talk about moving people, um, Cyrus, that is what you do when you go into your branding business. You get people to move towards towards you. It's kind of like you're you're the center of the universe, and you're attracting people, not repelling them. You're attracting them. So they moved, and they do it on their own, not because, yeah, because you influence them, sure, but they have their own will as to whether they want to repel, go away from you, or attract, come towards you. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what I do. That's what I attempt to do most of the time. But I also see that you do it often, and Annie does it often too. And that is a very powerful activity. Thank you very much, Cyrus. I'm at a loss of words. And
My pleasure. My pleasure. You deserve that, mate. You deserve that.
Thank
I
you, James.
enjoyed it.
And I love the beat. I love the rhythm. I love the words as well. So it's different to what you normally do. I mean, if in case you don't know, Cyrus is the one that's made my this I guess our opening and closing song for this event. It's made many other songs, including Paulette's books. So Cyrus, your genius shines again, my friend. You know.
My pleasure, my friends. It's absolutely my pleasure. He specified what type of music he wanted, and he said, I want African beats, and I want R&B, not R&B, drum and bass in it. So I had to amalgamate these two styles, and that's the outcome. Yeah, you're right. It's normally it's different to what I normally make, but I am satisfied with this track.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. You know, I've heard people more and more take to making AI music, and they think that, you know, if you just chuck a few words in, and you know, I know you well enough to know that you have a skill that not many have, Cyrus. So, you know, keep developing it, my friend. You know, keep going. Well done, you. Now you've made Michael's day. You know, you've made our day really. So. Gentlemen, we must go. My next show does start sometime soon. Positivity Live with Mr. Z and our friends. So do join us if you want to come and meditate. Otherwise, join us again 2 weeks' time for this room.
All right, I'll see you there. Take care.
You take care, my friend. Enjoy your weekend. Otherwise,
don't forget to send me the link.
Yeah,
later.
Of course. Give me about half an hour. I'll go and get a cup of tea. I must say hello to my family. For the leave.
Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do.
Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for sharing as well. Michael, Cyrus, Dr. Gwendolyn, everyone else who shared with us, Joni. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Every step forward is a new beat to your drama. She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrating with or without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum.